Christine Brennan is after making a suggestion for why DeWanna Bonner maybe left the Indiana Fever, and her reasoning is crazy if true.
In professional sports, athletes leave teams all the time. It's a cold, hard part of the business, but they don't just disappear into thin air, leaving behind a ghost-like silence. Yet, that's precisely what happened with WNBA legend DeWanna Bonner. Her shocking and unexplained vanishing act from the Indiana Fever has now ignited a firestorm of controversy, with insiders revealing a complicated truth that has little to do with what happens on the court. This was never just a roster move. It was the quiet, baffling collapse of what was supposed to be a championship-caliber plan.
The DeWanna Bonner situation is one of the most unprofessional things I have ever seen in any level of professional sports, and it has to be addressed. If you're not familiar, DeWanna Bonner is cut from the Indiana Fever. We have just waived her, and we brought back Ari McDonald. DeWanna Bonner has not played in the last few Indiana Fever games, and we were all thinking it was because of personal reasons. And all us Indiana Fever fans were thinking it was something big. I even said on a few of my live streams,
when the Indiana Fever signed DeWanna Bonner to a substantial one-year, $200,000 contract, the move was celebrated across the league as a stroke of genius. Bonner, a decorated 16-year veteran with 3 championship rings and 6 All-Star appearances, was handpicked to be the steadying force for a franchise navigating the whirlwind surrounding its new superstar, Caitlin Clark. She was meant to be the locker room anchor, the calming voice of experience, and the reliable scorer who could guide a young roster through the blinding spotlight. Clark herself was ecstatic, publicly stating, "I want to win for her. This is the end of her career. She deserves it." It was the perfect narrative. A living legend joining a rising phenom for one last glorious run.
Yesterday that DeWanna Bonner had no intention of coming back to the Indiana Fever. So initially we were wondering, hey, what is the reason? And the media has been feeding us this lie. The main reason why DeWanna Bonner is dipping out is because she wants to be in a starting position, and maybe she's mad about Lexi Holt outperforming her. Maybe she's mad about the fact that she's not getting the position of Natasha Howard on the team, and she's just been benched because she has not been playing well. They've also been saying that the fit is not well because she's a very slow player in a team that likes to play really fast. These are good concerns, and these are true probably to a certain extent, but that's not the end of it. What they've been trying to hide is the fact that DeWanna Bonner is leaving to go play with her.
But the storybook fantasy began to unravel almost immediately. From the opening tip-off of the season, the on-court reality was a jarring mismatch. Bonner, a future Hall of Famer known for her deliberate mid-range game, seemed a step behind in the Fever's frantic run-and-gun offense built around Clark's pace. Her stats were not just underwhelming, they were concerning. Averaging a little over 7 points a game, she struggled to find her rhythm, and her veteran presence seemed to fade into the background. In a stunningly quick decision, she was demoted from the starting 5 to the bench. For a player of Bonner's caliber, this wasn't just a strategic adjustment, it was a public signal that the perfect plan was already failing.
As much as Christine Brennan does very much lean anti-WNBA, she's still Christine Brennan. Like, I know a lot of people want to say, oh, Christine Brennan is this, Christine Brennan is that, but at the end of the day, Christine Brennan is Christine Brennan. She is arguably the most important female sports journalist of all time.
And then the situation escalated from disappointing to deeply strange. Following the team's game on June 10th, DeWanna Bonner was gone. The official team report listed her as out for personal reasons, a deliberately vague explanation that only fueled more questions. Days turned into a week, then 2, then 3. She was completely missing in action, absent from practices, games, and team activities. The silence from both Bonner and the Fever organization was deafening, creating a vacuum that was quickly filled with wild fan theories and frantic speculation online. A WNBA legend hadn't just been benched, she had vanished.
So here's what she said about DeWanna Bonner.
Look at DeWanna Bonner, and there's reporting on her, and I don't have any inside reporting. So DeWanna Bonner was brought in by Stephanie White, the new coach, formerly Fever player and coach as well, for the Fever, brought from Connecticut, and she wanted to bring her star veteran, 37-year-old DeWanna Bonner, as a stabilizing influence. A leader went out in 2 games in the playoffs, and they needed more depth and more leadership and more veteran savvy, etc. So that's the decision that Stephanie White makes. Within a couple of games, DeWanna Bonner is not playing well, and then she disappears, and then she's literally now gone and says she doesn't want to play and she wants to, trade and
So
we'll see what's happening with Phoenix and all of that.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but the little.
We know up to that point. We know she was playing badly. She did.
Just as the mystery seemed impenetrable, one of the most respected voices in sports journalism, Christine Brennan, dropped a bombshell that changed everything. Speaking on an ESPN broadcast, Brennan offered a theory that was both shocking and deeply plausible. DeWanna Bonner simply could not handle the suffocating pressure of the Caitlin Clark effect. She argued that Bonner, despite all her years of experience in high-stakes games, was completely unprepared for the unprecedented 24/7 media circus that now defines the Indiana Fever.
No, like this next part is the crazy part. And this next part is why I'm making this video. Because up to this point, from what Christine Brennan said, and this is Christine Brennan on ESPN LA. And it's a video titled Christine Brennan thinks Caitlin Clark can do the unthinkable.
Little clue here. I was at that game May 17th, that home opener for the Fever against Chicago, and they just absolutely steamrolled them over 30 points. Great game by the Fever. And Bonner made it third all time at scoring, and had like some points. Her interview right afterwards, it's a joyous moment, right? I mean, we've all seen these interviews. And Ramona, you've done them, I've done them. We were talking to the player. This is easy stuff, and she goes, "I was shocked." She said at the crowd. I've never seen anything like this, never experienced anything like this before. And I thought, what an interesting thing to say. Honest, yay, we love honesty. Yeah. But she's 37 and she's never seen anything like this. She meant it's 17,000 people, packed house, going crazy. They know their basketball, and they love you, and they love Caitlin, and they love everything about the team that Bonner is now on. Great, okay. And in talking to a source or two, it appears that Bonner was unable to, in some way, shape, or form, just deal with that spot.
Brennan's theory wasn't just speculation. She backed it up with a damning piece of evidence. A quote from Bonner herself that now sounds like a desperate cry for help. After a home game on May 17th, played in front of a deafening, sold-out arena of 17,000 fans, a visibly rattled Bonner admitted to reporters, "The crowd kind of shocked me a little bit. This is my first time playing in this kind of environment." That statement sent shockwaves through the league. A 16-year veteran, a champion who has faced the most hostile crowds in the WNBA Finals, was confessing that a regular season game in Indiana was unlike anything she had ever experienced. It was an astonishing admission, a red flag that something was profoundly wrong. The Caitlin Clark effect is more than just big crowds and TV ratings. It's a complete paradigm shift. It means every game, home or away, is a sold-out spectacle. It means media scrums that rival the NBA playoffs and a level of personal scrutiny that follows players off the court. This new reality also brings immense financial opportunities, endorsements, autograph sessions, and paid appearances. But according to Brennan's reporting, Bonner wanted no part of that trade-off. She was reportedly overwhelmed by the constant demands and chose to walk away from the very spotlight that could have made her final season her most lucrative one. But while the media latched onto the pressure narrative, a different, more personal rumor was being whispered among league insiders. A theory that explained Bonner's motives in a much simpler, human way. This story centered on her personal life and her engagement to Alyssa Thomas, an MVP candidate and star player for the formidable Connecticut Sun. This wasn't just idle gossip, it was a powerful explanation that cast the entire situation in a new light. When you compare the two teams, Bonner's dilemma becomes painfully clear. On one side was the Indiana Fever, a young, developing team at the heart of a chaotic media storm, where Bonner was a supporting character in someone else's show. On the other side was the Connecticut Sun, a quiet, stable, veteran-led powerhouse with a legitimate shot at the championship, and the team where her fiancé was the undisputed leader. The rumor suggested Bonner wanted to escape the madness in Indiana for a chance to win a ring and be with her family in a much healthier environment. Just as the narrative that she had quit under pressure began to take hold, DeWanna Bonner shattered the silence. In a powerful and defiant Instagram post, she wrote, "A quitter? Nah, never been that. But when the time comes, let's just make sure the apologies are just as loud as the disrespect." The message was unmistakable. She felt the story being told about her was not only wrong, but deeply disrespectful. It was the sound of a proud veteran fighting back, suggesting that the public, and perhaps even her former team, did not know the full truth of what had transpired behind closed doors. The fallout was immediate and messy. the Fever officially waived Bonner, cutting ties with their marquee free agent signing midseason. They scrambled to bring back guard Arie McDonald to plug the gaping hole in their roster, but the damage was done. The entire ordeal has become a major distraction for a team in the middle of a playoff hunt and a cautionary tale for the league. A future Hall of Famer, once a prized asset, was now on waivers, available for free. So, what really drove DeWanna Bonner away? Was it a simple decline in performance? Was she truly crushed by the weight of a spotlight she never asked for? Or was it an intensely personal decision to choose stability and happiness over the chaos of fame? The reality is likely a complex mix of all these factors. But her story has exposed an uncomfortable truth about the new WNBA. The Caitlin Clark era has brought unprecedented attention and money, but it has also created a high-pressure environment that not every player is built to survive. It raises a chilling question for the future of the league. How many other stars will find that the price of playing in this new spotlight is simply too high to pay?